each other. We have some friends in the front row who are other business owners that we get to chat with. And that's been the most helpful thing because they don't put this online. There's no course online on how to properly scale your business. And so I think being able to just have open communication with other business owners is a big.
I would say the other big thing, I think, so last year, because we grew so much, we actually got a SBA loan, and that's been great because it's helped us really, really grow. We're very interested in free money, which is grants. There's a lot of grants that exist, and neither of us know anything about grants. And they're, on a regular basis, we see some of the people that we follow friends. They're like, "Oh my God, I just got $20,000. I won $20,000." And so a lot of them are grants, and I know that those are really, really, really valuable. And so if anybody has any experience or knowledge about grants, that's definitely something we would welcome with open arms.
All right, Karate Life.
So you get to pick the 4 best questions.
No, you have.
All right, Danielle. Yeah.
All right. Well, we want to thank you all again for coming today. We are really excited to be here and in person again. And we want to give a little shout out to our sponsors. We want to thank SCORE, 8.1, the Hatch Foundation, the Hatch Building, Venture Asheville, non-biz groups, Van Winkle, and Viking Merchandise. All right, so let's see. Brenda J is giving out mugs right now to the 4 best questions. There we go. Each starts with that. If you would like to present at 1 Million Cups, we are looking for presenters coming up. We are looking to have more people come. Our goal is to have 2 presenters per session. Okay, if we can all put our hands together for Pisa. This is Tyler Cup.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's awesome. It's cool to start it back up. I'm Tyler Koch, as you can see. I'm the owner of Pisa Pizza, and I'm here to present to you guys. So, I'd like to start off a little bit of background about myself. Is I have nothing to do with the restaurant industry for my whole entire career. My whole adult career was about 8 years, medical device sales, consulting for trauma surgery, and then I decided to start a pizza shop. So we'll go into that later, but it kind of played in my favor, so it's great. So we established ourselves in 2022. Everyone, I know you're thinking, we're in a pandemic, why would you start a business? Well, I'm crazy, so that's why we did it. So we opened up and we wanted to be a late night pizza shop. I was getting out of the hospital real late and I couldn't find any food. So I was living in New York City, and everything is at your fingertips in New York City. You can go get a sandwich at 4 a.m. in the morning, drunk in a bodega underneath your apartment complex. But Asheville has all this drinking, all this good beer, all this good activity, but no anything to get late night. So I said, all right, I'm gonna look into it. And we looked into it. And again, I didn't know anything about the restaurant industry, so I tried to keep it as simple as possible. So we serve 1-foot slices and 28-inch pizzas. We're down in the South Slope. Everyone here, does everyone know where Burial is down the South Slope? Good. We're right beside it. So go get some beer, come over, get some pizza. And we have a self-proclaimed that we are the largest and the best late night pizza in Asheville. So inspiration. Number 1, create to fill a need. Just like Pirani, I hate waste. Waste is the devil of the world, in my opinion. So I wanted to create something that actually filled a need. It wasn't a replica. It wasn't something that everyone else is doing. Number 2, build an environment where I would want to work in. So we all have jobs. We all have places that we go to every single day. Well, I work jobs where not every day did I wake up and I wanted to go to that job. I didn't want to go in that environment. I didn't want to deal with the people around it. So my goal was to create an environment where people wanted to come to work, They loved coming to work, and people that came in saw that and felt that as well. And then finally, who doesn't want to manage their own time? I was in medical sales and consulting, as I said, and I was on call. For when I first moved to Asheville, it was 4.5, 5 years ago. I was on call 6 months in a row, all by myself, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, on call. I could get called in anytime I want. They would call me. I'd have to go in the middle of the night, wake up out of my bed and go. So one of the biggest goals was managing my own time. Now I can come and present at 9 a.m. instead of going to surgery. So prototype to launch, it took us about a year. So whenever I told you we started in 2020, that actually didn't, it started in 2019. And once you're in the middle of doing something, you don't want to stop. So you got to keep going. You plug away, you figure out, you pivot, and you figure out what you got to do. So throughout the course of that, I don't know if, is there any Mountain BizWorks people in here? Right on. Thank you guys so much. That place did me wonders. I have a marketing background from college, but went there and they helped me build my business plan and get through the processes of like, how do I start this? Where do I go from there? So I was there. You know, you learn about things and you have to research things yourself, like building an LLC or creating trademarks and things like that. So I dove into that. And then you get into the physical space aspect of it, where you got architects, engineers, and contractors. You got to do permitting. You got to find equipment. Who knew that was a hard thing to do? You got to make sure the equipment aligns with the voltage in your physical space. So there's all these different little steps that you have to do as you're going. And then you have to build recipes. So my mom's Italian, she's a Monteleone, but she is the only one that made homemade pizzas. Other than that, I've never made pizza in my life. So I found someone who was good in dough, learned that was the most essential part. And we have a really great dough recipe, and then also sauce recipe and things like that we've implemented in the business. ABC and health department, it speaks for itself. That is a bore. Anytime you deal with the health department, it's scary. ABC liquor license with the state of North Carolina, not easy. We figured it out though. And then finally, the brand and the processes. I'm a process guy myself. So being in trauma surgery, everything has to be efficient. It has to go quick. It has to move fast because they're getting billed $150 an hour every time that person's under anesthesia. So I'm there to save time, save energy. And that's what I do with the business. Keep the processes simple, keep it replicable, and also make it so all the employees enjoy it and it's not too hard for them. And then going on to the staffing and the employees, that's incredibly important. As you said, it's really difficult to hire people nowadays, but it's also hard to keep them. It's hard to employ that staff that, you know, that first staff that you're going to do is going to create a culture that people want to come and remain in. So now through the course of 2 years, we've actually held about 15 to 20 people on staff throughout the course of those 2 years, and people keep on coming. So I'm turning down applications because those first group of people that we brought in were such a good group of people. They've created a culture where other people want to come into. And then finally, executing marketing strategy. I have a marketing background through college, and I think the biggest part of starting a business is not thinking that you can just open a business up and it's just going to be big. That's not how it works. You got to hustle. You got to go out. We went to every different restaurant, every different bar around town, brewery, hotels, and we dropped off free pizza. We got our name out there. We showed them the logo. We talked to them personally, and we built relationships. So you have to get a buzz going, and that's what we did. So some attributes to our success. I would say number one, simplicity. As I said, processes and menu. We only have 5 options. You get 5 options of pizza on our menu, and you either get a whole 28-inch pie or a single 1-foot slice. You cannot make any substitutions to that at all. You cannot add, you cannot subtract, you cannot change. The only thing you can do is you can cut it into 16 slices. My ignorance. So this is a little knock on myself, but that's good. And I think ignorance is good in a lot of things in life. So it gave me a wider lens of how to build the business. I wasn't looking at it as a restaurateur of this is how you build this. This is how this restaurant goes. I looked at it a wider lens of how do I just make it as efficient as possible in a space that's really, really easy to work through. And then finally, quantifying decisions. As a lot of people in this room do, and so do I have racing thoughts. I'm constantly thinking of something. I spend all nights thinking in my bed about stuff, and I quantify all these decisions and things that are going through my head through a risk reward process or a time money. So either time spent, money spent, what's my risk, what's my reward. And then finally, the decisions that I would make a little bit differently, and if I could recommend this to anyone, is stay out of business with your friends. That's unfortunately it works itself out in the end, but ultimately you don't want to ruin any friendships because of a business. And that is just something that everyone should take home with today. So our future goals, our goals now is to get to 2 to 5 locations in the next 5 years. Super attainable. I don't like to shoot to the moon. I was going to say 20 something. That's my number. I've always played college rock, but it's just too big. So we'll do 2 to 5 pizza locations in 5 years. And I think it's attainable, and hopefully other people will want to join along the way. And how do we do that? Again, I'm just repeating myself, but the people, the process, and the product. This has been taken from a lot of entrepreneurs that I've studied, and this is so important because the people are number one. The people that come in your restaurant are very, very important. The people that are in your restaurant, incredibly important. And as long as both of those two are satisfied, I think you'll have a successful business. The process, again, I'm a process guy. So if it makes it flow, it's easy to work through. That's something that makes a business very successful, and it can grow. And then finally, the product. If I don't have good pizza, none of you are coming back. So you got to have a good product, and people keep on coming. And then finally, and we'll get touched to this a little bit more in the end, but my ask to you guys is come and give us a shot. Come try some pizza and keep us accountable. Accountability is incredibly huge to me. And it is because I'm not a Yelper. I'm not an online kind of guy. I'm like, hey, if you have a problem with me, or we did something right or wrong, or service wasn't very good, the pizza was burnt, come talk to us. We're all reasonable people, and that's how we run our business, that we want to have an open platform where people can come and express themselves in person. So thank you guys so much.
How much pizza do you eat?
Gosh. So at first, you have to eat a lot of pizza. But I personally, I try to eat pretty healthy, and I now only eat pizza whenever we're trying for our new monthly special. And that's another thing of our business too, is we have those 5 options. One of them is rotating. So every month we change to a monthly special. So I'll try a bite or 2 of those pizzas and then toss the rest. But the other day, it was a customer came in, and we were trying our monthly special, and I probably took a bite or 2, and I walked over to the POS system, and I just kind of threw it in the trash. And this customer looked at me like I was nuts, and I was like, sorry, man, I eat way too much pizza, so I don't eat anymore. Good question.
So, hey, Tyler, congratulations on an awesome business over here, bro.
Thank you.
So I'm from New York, so needless to say, I'm a pizza snob.
Right on.
People ask me, what pizza have I found here that's good? So you're on the top of the list. I love pizza. I love the people who are working there. A lot of times I'll sit outside, have my garden sliced, and watch people try to get through the door with that massive pizza.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, but it works. So my question to you is, on that large box of pizza, are you finding, was that part of the impetus for marketing, and is it working for you? Is it any negatives to that? Because I have seen people like break clamps trying to get the box. It does work, so I'm just saying. So I'm just curious.
Absolutely, great question. So at first, I thought to myself, again, I'm not a restaurateur. I don't know how to make pizza. If I can market it and make it large and different than every single other person in this town that has pizza, we can put it in a big black box, we can make it substantial, at least I can market something. But in turn, it ended up being good pizza too. So I got a good pizza, and I got a good marketing strategy. So thank you.
Excellent pizza, bro.
Thank you.
Have you thought about what growth looks like? I think this could be a good franchise opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. That's also a really good question. Something that I stay up at night thinking about, because there's all this opportunity. And I have had people approach me with a lot of money to franchise it and go in that direction. And I don't know where I sit yet. I don't know what the best route for that is. I don't like the thought of the whole sell out and just blow them up and go cross country. So I like to kind of take it step by step, and I'm weighing all my options now.
Well, you're already in the mountain business, which means just keep in mind scale up, which is an annual thing for growth companies to look at. So keep that in mind.
That's awesome. Thank you. I didn't even know about that, so that's perfect. Thank you.
I'm Italian.
Oh, okay.
I love pizza. And recently, to lower inflammation in my body, I've gone gluten-free.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering, do you guys have gluten-free pizza?
Oh, that's a good question. Next question. Yeah, so I'm entertained with all of it. The original plan was just to keep it a lot of gluten, and I'm weighing the options, and the cost of food is going up right now too, and that's heavy, especially in that space. And I think if I would go, I got a roommate over here who's gluten-free, dairy-free, everything free to think of. So I'm considering it highly. It's depending on price and what the market looks like, how many people here in Asheville are looking at it. I just wrote a study. I think it was like 22% of this town is looking for an option for that type of style pizza. So I'm entertaining it, but it has to run the numbers and it has to make sense for the business.
Awesome, thank you. Well, I'll be watching.
Thank you. And we'll definitely let you know. We'll publicize it. Sir.
Wait for the microphone before you ask a question.
Hey, so what are your hours if you're slanting towards being a late night spot? And when I think about that, I think, I'm not sure if this is on, but here we go. No.
I can hear you.
So I think about places like Chapel Hill, Time Out, like it was a late night gathering place, right? And it was such a cool scene. I'm now a father of two young ones, so not a late night scene like it used to be, but are you trying to cultivate that environment? If so, how are you getting the word out? Like, you're right, other than Yelp, like what's open right now? Are you outside of the bars at 2 a.m. with like pizza samples, like, hey, come on down and get more of this? Or are you creating that vibe? Is it working?
Yeah.
That
was original plan was just late night, and we started open at 2 a.m. On weekends at the beginning of the business, and then slowly we dropped that back to 1 a.m. for the weekends. Because what we found in this town specifically, now a Charlotte or a bigger city of some sorts might be different. It's all to scale, but here, you got your breweries closing now at 12 o'clock. So we find that last hour from 12 o'clock is really good for business. And we've been having lines out the door on like Mondays, like the concert just let out around 11 o'clock, and it line out the door till 12 o'clock at night. So we found that people are very disrespectful no matter how drunk or sober they are. And the more drunk you get, the more disrespectful you get. So we found that after that 1 o'clock hour, people just end up coming and they just become a mess, and they get in fights and they don't act appropriately. And I think a lot of the bars and people around town have recently discovered that too through COVID. So that's why they pulled back, and someone like Ben's Tune Up is closed at 12 o'clock now. So market to scale, depending where we're at, we might increase that to 2 a.m. But right now, I think we like 1 a.m. And I like it that the employees don't also have to be there till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So thank you.
Yeah.
So I think in Asheville, there's a great appreciation for businesses supporting other businesses. And I've noticed you carry, the local cookies, right?
Yes.
When you're doing product innovation, are you considering the ingredients that are available locally?
Yeah, we every month, like you said, our rotating special, we try to partner with someone. So I think last month we partnered with Hickory Nut Gap, and we just had Bottom Bond come in the other day, and we tried to test buy with them. We work with Bear's Barbecue and some other people for 4th of July. So we're constantly trying to work with other community people. And Marshall Cookie Company, she's true to my heart. She is a 22-year-old crushing it, making cookies. And we gave her a shot, and then she blossomed and she's crushing it. So yes, always want to work with local people.
So I have a question about tourism kind of in Asheville. So a couple things. Have you thought about being like an Airbnb experience for people coming into Asheville? Another question with that is like food truck vibes, or like going to festivals, like any of that stuff.
Yeah, so we'll start with the food truck, and that's, so many people have asked me that because they want them in different places. And the problem being is that we do 28-inch pizzas, which 60-inch deck up, they're massive, they're too big. So to put that on a truck is very, very difficult. And then to maneuver in a truck space with a 30-inch pizza, it's not very fun. So not really weighing that option, but good question. And then the other one was
like an Airbnb experience.
Airbnb experience. Yeah, I don't like specifically like being in an Airbnb or.
Well, for like if you go on there, you can do like food tours or put like the vibes in there. Or the other thing I wrote down is like tourism websites or like Visit Asheville. Like, are you in there as a local pizza guy?
I don't think so. We don't spend any money on advertising, and we do a lot of it on social, TikTok and Instagram and all those stuff, and it's really fun. I just recently ran some radio ads to kind of pick up our lunch business And that's kind of where we need to pick up is lunch. So if anyone wants to get a quick lunch, that's what we're doing for, where you're in and out within 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes. So it's quick, it's easy. Airbnb experience, great idea. I haven't even thought through it, to be honest. And there's so many things you can think through in this sector, but yeah, I'm entertaining any type of marketing ideas that anyone has, because that's how you grow. So
We've got time for one more question.
I'll do it again. It's Roscaz over here. Hey.
oh, the last.
Congratulations on your success.
Thank you, thank you.
So I think I heard you say you have your original team, and that's amazing. Is that right?
Not all of them, but I probably have 5 of the original squad right now. And then the people that aren't original come from segmenting through that original group. So everything is pretty much word of mouth, or talking to people, or finding a community in which someone's going to be a hard worker, an ethic kind of person. Things like that.
Gotcha. So can you talk a little bit about company culture and environment, keeping that sort of word of mouth? Because yes, staffing is an insane challenge at the moment. And just what I'm noticing is that I've heard it said to me by many leaders, mentors of my business, that you have to have them like drink the Kool-Aid and like get into the mission with pizza, like whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gluten intolerant, I'm into the mission with pizza. So can you just talk a little bit about that?
I hate that saying. Drink the Kool-Aid, drink the Kool-Aid. I hate it. I hate it. Everyone's different. Everyone runs their things differently. Everyone lives their life differently. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. You know, come here, work hard, put in a lot of effort, do things correctly, keep accountability for yourself. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Be yourself. And I think that's a big thing with the culture is what I've recently come into when we hire new people and we're training them, or we tell them, hey, can you do this, or can I critique you in this sector? They end up, oh, you're not gonna get fired. You're not gonna get fired. You're not gonna get fired. You steal from me, or you don't respect me, or you can't do something 10 times in a row. And then it becomes repetitive action. I can't keep you on staff. But it's weird to see that all these people coming from different companies are worried about being fired. And you shouldn't be worried about being fired at anything. You should be worried about being yourself, having fun where you're at, and enjoying like what you're doing. Like that's the most important thing in life.
Are you able to like bring in other people to help you with that mission? Because oftentimes like when you're so heated in the passion of it, right? Like that can get lost in translation.
100%. So I always like to keep my finger on the pulse, but I worked heavily in it 24 hours a day, closing, opening for the first 6 months. And then after I got a real grip on how everything works and how it's going to work, I've hired a great management staff that I have a managing order named Taylor. He's actually, I have a meeting with him next. I'm gonna give him a raise. And he does all the ordering. And then John, who's our general manager, and he just orchestrates all the people. So I have someone orchestrating all the food stuff, and then I have someone orchestrating the people stuff. And the culture just trickles down. As long as you're, expressing to the management what you're looking for, and the management expressing to them, and everything is in a constructive way being taught, it all just trickles down. Thank you.
Great presenters, like Tyler and Ronajay and Danielle, thank you so much for being great.